Hi everybody, this is my presentation on the key constructs of the theories of stress and coping for health education and promotion. So stress was first defined by Hans Seal as the non-specific response of the body to any demand for change in 1936. As we know, there's an abundance of research that shows stress can lead to adverse physical and mental health outcomes. The transactional model of stress and coping provides a framework for evaluating the processes of coping with stress. The application to public health is really important because different methods of coping with stress ultimately influence how individuals use medical care and support and how they access them and the success of any intervention programs. So almost any type of behavior modification comes with some form of stress to some extent, and the long-term success depends on how. So for example, when developing a physical activity promotion program, if let's say an initial assessment were to be done on the target population and it revealed that their attitudes and beliefs regarding exercise indicated a really high level of associated stress, then that would significantly influence the program outcomes and therefore needs to be addressed in the intervention and the strategies used. According to the key constructs of the stress theories, almost all stressful experiences, including chronic illnesses, are viewed as a person-environment transaction. The transactions include 4 stages that an individual completes when confronted with a stressful situation, which includes primary appraisal, secondary appraisal, coping, and reappraisal. Stressors are the primary construct underlying the theories of stress and coping. They are defined as the demands on an individual from either the internal or external environment that one perceives as threatening. They're categorized as either major life events, everyday chronic stressors, or the absence of major events or non-events. The first stage is primary appraisal of the stressor, in which an individual internally analyzes the severity of the situation and then determines whether or not there is a perceived threat based on their past experiences and knowledge. If there is a perceived threat, then they move on to secondary appraisal, which involves determining how much control they have over the stressor. As the level of perceived control decreases, stress increases. So if you feel like you have a high amount of control over the situation, then your stress level is going to be lower. The level of control determined in secondary appraisal serves as the basis for the actions taken to negate that stressor, which is known as coping. The 2 main types of coping are problem-focused and emotion-focused coping. Problem-focused coping seeks to directly change a stressful situation, and emotion-focused coping seeks to change the emotional response to a stressor. The final stage is reappraisal, which serves as the feedback loop to determine if the effects of the stressor have been effectively. So applying the concept of primary and secondary appraisal to behavior modification within a health education program include methods like keeping a stress diary or brainstorming to identify one's different stressors in different situations. Secondary appraisal methods also include providing assistance in identifying and effectively accessing social support networks. For example, physicians of women with newborn infants are in the best position to identify those in need of help with coping with stress and how to refer them to the appropriate services. Examples of problem-focused coping include adhering to a prescribed medical treatment plan like DASH diet for hypertension. The method of problem-focused coping is most effective when the stressor is in some way changeable or modifiable, because the overall goal of this type of coping is to reduce the cause of the stressor in some way. So if the main reason an individual does not, say, engage in physical activity is because they don't like exercising in public, then this would be something that would be changeable by, say, developing an at-home workout regimen or doing something outside, going for a walk, and so on. Emotion-focused coping includes methods like joining a support group, meditation, and the use of biofeedback. So coping involves self-reflection and taking control of your own emotions, or essentially managing your emotional response. So in conclusion, there are benefits to incorporating stress management components into health programs. The influence of stress should be considered when developing a health education or promotion program, because it not only influences the success of the program's outcomes, but also has short-term and long-term advantages to the individual and the So I thought this video was a funny and simple example of some of the constructs of stress theories. It's a scene from the TV show The Big Bang Theory, and as you will see, one of the characters' previous knowledge from past experiences influenced his reaction to the arrival of an FBI agent or the stressor. He then proceeds to the stage of secondary appraisal where he decides what control he has over the situation, and then he uses problem-focused coping to alter the situation. Okay, thanks for watching everybody, and here is a slide with my references.